Oh, God. Oh, jeez. Oh, God. I saw this yesterday at the end of the show. Oh. What were they thinking? Look who it is. Look who it is.
We're up.
Probably one of the worst decision makers in America right now. I would say probably the number one worst not number one, probably top 5 worst decision maker in America. How do you stab somebody in broad daylight in front of everybody? Why can't you just wait till they're walking out of the track meet in the dark and then run away? Like, you didn't even try not to get caught. Like, there's no sense of self-preservation at all. What an idiot, man. They already bought an $800 mansion. I'm gonna look into this and we're gonna talk about it. So I heard murder. I mean, the dude's literally holding his hand. Well, I mean, of course he's holding his hand. Like, they're just trying to get him around from like point A to point B, because that's what their job is. But anyway, this guy went and he stabbed. Like, I think honestly, I think this is like probably. This is like one of the biggest L's of the year. Like, I'm gonna be real, it really is. What actual privilege looks like. Yeah, not only the fact he had bail, judge lowered it. The judge lowered his bail. Like, why would you lower the dude? Like, if you stab somebody in the chest with a knife, like, you know who does that? Like, a Mayan priest. Like, we're going back to the conquistador days at this point. What the hell are we talking about letting somebody like that go? Oh my God. Yeah, look at the judge. It doesn't, like, I know people, because the judge is black and he's black, they think that it's preferential treatment that's racially based. The fact is that it's impossible for me to know whether that's the case, but I'll tell you this. If it was a white judge and a white guy, people said the same fucking thing about Kyle Rittenhouse, except for Kyle Rittenhouse was actually in the right. So, the fact is, anytime that you have any interaction between two people, everybody is going to look at it from this direction. So, let me see if I can pull this up and talk about it. And it's been really, really fucking embarrassing. I don't even know where it is. Anthony Carmel. I guess I can just search it here. But, yeah, just give me 1 second. And there it is. Let's go ahead. Was released. This is it. And so, anyway, think of white privilege, check your white privilege. Yeah, I mean, this is insane. Summary of the events. So basically, this is what happened. And it's kind of crazy. This is it. And summary of events of Carmelo Anthony. This is incredible. Trespassed onto another team's tent, was told to leave, stabbed and killed the kid in response. Black people raised $500K in his legal defense. I'm not about using this as a race thing, personally. I think there's plenty of white people that gave him money, too. His bail gets reduced down to $250K, and this is the best part. You ready for this? The parents buy a new mansion with the legal defense money. That's right. That's right. And so we're not 100% sure whether this is happening or not. I'm not 100%, but it looks like that's kind of what's going on. And so, like, this is, and I look at this house. This is a nice fucking house. Like, look at that. Oh my God. And so anyway, they're like, okay, well, this is the same stairway because it's like, you know, the same two things. And so they might have done this. Not a bad decision maker at all. I mean, he's going to be in jail, right? I mean, let's be honest. And so this is an $800,000, it says right there, $800,000 house. I'm not sure whether he owns the house, they bought the house or not. I think that's kind of unconfirmed right now. And house owned by apparently Indians. Yeah, so apparently that's not even really what's going on. And so they could be renting it. They're moving into a new house and hiring private security with the fund that they can afford the mortgage of a mansion in Texas. Is basically illegal. It should be fraud. The problem, like, I don't have a problem like this. Maybe this is just me, but the only bad thing I see about this is the fact that his bail got lowered. Like, if a bunch of retards want to get together and pool money for some dumbass, then I don't really think that's too big of a deal, right? I mean, like, why the fuck would I care about this? I mean, there's plenty of stupid money. People donate money to fucking, like, I'm trying to think, like, what's the dumbest, like, people have been donating money to Star Citizen forever, right? They've been donating money to these video games like, oh, this is going to be the next new Chronicles of Valeria. Like, is this really that big of a difference to me? Like, yeah, it is kind of a big difference, but it's not a huge difference. And so that they donate to Twitch streamers, exactly. And so that's not what bothers me. What bothers me is that this woman thought to lower his bail. Like, this needs to be an investigation. Why is it that you think that somebody who, because, like, I mean, again, stabbing somebody in the heart with a knife, like, again, like, there are, like, levels of, like, violence, and I feel like that one's pretty high up there, right? I mean, like, that's some savage shit, right? And so, like, you talk about doing that, that's a whole lot on stolen property, yes. And so, anyway, yes, Dexter Morgan type shit, exactly. And so he shouldn't even had a bail to begin with. And if anything, $1 million, that's one thing. So that this judge needs to be looked at. That, like, how do you make a decision like this and think that it's okay? And so anyway, yeah, I did say it was not a legal defense fund; it was a fund for the family. You're supposed to think the legal costs, but didn't make that claim. What's this here? Family needs the money to survive. Were they depending on a 17-year-old high school kid to support the family? Well, I mean, a lawsuit costs a lot of money realistically, right? But anyway, worst part is this established pattern, totally expected from the beginning. Can't wait to see how the trial goes. I mean, he gonna be gone, right? Do you want radicalized white people? Because this is how you get radicalized white people. I think this is really what the worst part about it is the fact that this situation happening and Anthony getting off on this shit and then getting released and then being like, this is the post that was made about it, right? And so, minister, I mean, like, what I find to be crazy, oh, he's a minister of justice. Okay, never mind. I thought it was a minister of a religion because as far as I know, unless you're worshiping Quetzalcoatl, stabbing somebody in the heart and killing them is generally not, I don't think that, because, like, Cain did that in the Bible, right? And, like, people thought he was the bad guy. So, yeah, I thought that's definitely not it. Anyway, so, Carmelo Anthony is safe at home. The moment is a reminder that a community united can never be divided. Well, has it ever occurred to you that if everybody is collectively morons, that's not something to be proud of? Like, if and also, by the way, the community, if this implication that, like, the black community supports this is fucking ridiculous. There are tons of black people, and I think that if you really polled average, you go to Walmart and you tell people at Walmart, black people at Walmart, this is what happened, they're gonna say, no, keep them in fucking jail. What are you talking about? So, like, this entire fucking, the entire premise of this is a complete fabrication. Massive fucking fabrication. Clueless, Asmon? No, I'm telling you, like, I mean, again, are there racist black people out there? For fucking sure there are. But to act like that's the majority, guys, like, really, take some time off the internet. A lot of people don't see it that way. So, but supporters are mostly black, so what the fuck? If all of his supporters are black, that still is not an indication on the general population of black people. Like, let's say 1 million people support him that are black. If blacks are 13% of the population, that's like 2% or something like that. It's nothing. And so, like, no, I'm not going to sit around and act like there's some kind of, like, collective accountability of black people because a handful of them got together and supported a fucking crazy asshole. That's not fair. It's not fucking fair. It's not even a majority. And so anyway, Chatter's mad. Not everybody always wants to turn this into a race issue. Do not let these grifters take advantage of you and convince you that this person somehow is you want to know who your enemy is. Yeah, it's this guy. But you want to know who the real enemy is? It's this guy. It's this guy who tries to sow racial divides, racial hatred, who tries to push people apart, who tries to use his identity as a weapon, and who tries to create a false sense of solidarity between people on superficial grounds. This is the enemy. This guy's just a stupid fucking kid, asshole. He should have never even been in that school to begin with, right? I mean, honestly, the people that really like he's a minor. He's 17 years old. And yeah, I know he should go to jail. He should be tried as an adult. I completely agree. But let's be honest. The fact that the teacher, this guy had a history of violence and the school let this kid stay in the school. We got to find and investigate the people that made that decision and make sure that they never have another fucking job in education again. Because if it was not for them, if they had made the right decision, not the decision that made them feel good, but the right decision, they would have actually saved a life. And I think that there is a degree of blood on their hands. I think so, because they hold the power. This person doesn't hold the power. I know you might think that's crazy, but I'm sorry. If you're so fucking retarded that you think you're going to stab somebody in the middle of a track meet, you do not have the full capacity of your mental facilities. You are insane. This person needs to be taken care of, separated from society, and given a place where they can exist without hurting themselves or other people. That's the reality. This is a degree of a lack of self-control that has been, again, also trained. This person has probably been violent. That's what that other girl that went to school with him went. She just didn't even really know him that well, but she knew he caused problems. How the fuck does everybody know you're causing problems and you're still there? Really? You see what I'm saying about this shit? This is nuts. And so anyway, I go and I see this. And I'll read the rest of the journey is long ahead. No, it's not. The journey is you go from court to jail. That's it. It's over. That's really short. Maybe your journey is not good. Maybe your journey is going to be long because you get to go on a cruise with all the money that you're getting. Maybe maybe your journey is going to be really long. And now you get to go and talk and be like, oh, I can't believe this happened to him. And now you get to use this guy and, oh no, this is another victim. And get the fuck out of here. And anyway, we celebrate a victory for justice for the family and for the power of the people coming to protect our youth. Our youth? Well, what about the youth that got stabbed? Well, what about the protection Zam? Because I agree that Carmelo needs to be protected. That's why he should have never been in his school in the first place, because his brain is fucked up. There's something wrong with him. And the fact is that they let him stay in that school, and the kid is dead because of that. And also, Carmelo ruined his fucking life. Carmelo ruined his entire fucking life. He could have maybe got the help he needed. He could have maybe been medicated in a way that kept him on an even keel. He could have maybe be held accountable as a young man, and then maybe that would have helped him evolve into somebody who could control himself. But none of that was happening because of the low expectations of education and society. And I hate to say it, but I think some of these are the bigotry of low expectations. You can be black and you can make bad decisions and it's still your fault. This weird fucking thing where people infantilize minorities is, it's disgusting. It's insulting. It's insulting to everybody. It's insulting to them. It's insulting to everybody else. It's awful. It's bad for everyone. This is what I said before. Remember the video that I pulled up for y'all about the guy that, like, he couldn't buy anything from Dunkin' Donuts because he was being treated like he's in a jail? Because, like, there's, like, fiberglass walls and, like, bulletproof glass everywhere. And I actually agreed with him, and I said, if you treat people like animals in jail, they're going to act like animals in jail. That, again, you know who came up with the decision not to have police everywhere there? A bunch of fucking upper-middle-class Karens who think that they're helping minority communities. You're not helping minority communities by not holding the criminals accountable in their culture. That is the problem. That is the main fucking issue, and it ruins everything for them. It fucks up everything. I'm so disappointed in this. And another thing is that I'm so disappointed in a lot of these, and I think that, again, it's understandable. And again, it's understandable. It is. Like, we've had Jim Crow, we had slavery, we had pre-civil rights, we had segregation, we've had all kinds of racial contexts in America. We have, and the ripple effects of that are still felt today. Absolutely. Think about the amount of families that are black with generational wealth versus white with generational wealth. Small minorities in both, but one of them is certainly greater than the other. And so I'm not going to try to act like there's no systematic racism and there's no ripples of that have happened. There are, and it's important to talk about that. But at the same time, you have these people that are co-opting these race issues so they can make money. This guy's wearing a nice suit. And I bet after this is all over, he's going to be wearing an even nicer suit. I think it's fucking ridiculous. It's disgraceful. Absolutely fucking disgraceful. It's come out now. The minister defending this guy so hard is the domestic abuser who beat his ex-girlfriend's 12-year-old daughter and I believe hospitalized her. He said it on Twitter. Well, hey, game recognized game. What a surprise. I mean, I'm not going to go and say that's what happened, right? Because I don't know. But if it did happen, I would believe it. So, yeah, thanks for being level-headed through all these things. Brush if I share some unbiased, extreme basic plan. No, the thing is, and this is the problem, is that there is no greater victim of this form of, bigotry of low expectations, illusion of tolerance. There is no greater victim to this than other minorities that are affected by it. Because here's another really important thing to keep in mind, is that with every single race, I'm trying to say this in a way that doesn't have some connotation. Every single race, including black people, they kill more black people than any other race. White people, as far as I know, kill more white people than any other race. So the main victims of this low expectation are other ones of them. That's the reason. They're the victims. They're the ones that are being hurt by this. And and what I'm saying is so this crash out that we see with Carmelo, this happens regularly. Absolutely fucking disgusting. You're trying so hard to avoid the reality of this issue of personal accountability. Everybody makes choices. What I'm saying is that the choices are easier to make. So I agree that actually, I don't entirely. When I decide that a person, and this is again my opinion, but really, are we really gonna act like a guy that's gonna pull out a knife in the middle of everybody and stab somebody? Are we really gonna act like this is a man of sound mind? I don't. Fuck no. Absolutely not. I think this is a nutball. And so anyway, not for a kid. Yeah, exactly, right? And so what my point is that when a crazy person does something wrong, crazy people, in a way, are not accountable for their own behavior. Now, you have to take care of them and make sure that people are safe, but at the same time, you should be asking yourself, why is it that this person was allowed to get to this point? Who is it that thought they were doing a good thing who now has blood on their hands? And those are the people I think that need to be held accountable too. Am I crazy for saying this? I don't think I am. I think I'm the only person that's not fucking crazy. Because I see everybody turning this into this weird fucking race issue. And yes, there is a degree, I think that there absolutely is a degree of racial solidarity that's happening, and I find it to be disgusting, and it shouldn't be promoted or advocated for at all. But do not let those people divide you and make you think that average black people don't see this and find it to be fucking disgusting. They do. This is the amount of people that supported this guy is a fraction of a % of the actual amount of people that are black in the country. It's outrageous. And so they all get ignored, exactly. And so that's the point that I'm making here. So first arrested in 2009. This is the guy, right? It's Dominique Alexander. Let's listen to this is what he's done. Alexander was first arrested in 2009 for causing serious bodily injury to a child. Police reported that he'd been babysitting his girlfriend's 2-year-old son for the evening, and he called her at 11 p.m. and told her to get home now, but he didn't tell her why. When she arrived, she found her child unresponsive. Alexander told his girlfriend that he'd been watching a movie with her son on the couch. He paused the movie, police reported, and he walked into the computer room, heard the sound of her son, who was asleep on the couch, fall off the couch onto the carpet. But the doctor disagreed with the statement. He examined Alexander's girlfriend's son in the intensive care unit and reported that the child had a subdural hemorrhage between the halves of his brain, the back of his brain. He also had retinal hemorrhages in both eyes. Ooh, geez. Didn't you go to prison for beating a toddler? Geez. And it all, wait a minute. Oh, bro. This he got a list. And so, injury to a child. The 2-year-old son pleaded guilty to a felony theft charge from a 2016 business. He was sentenced to 2 days in jail. What? Alexander was convicted on another felony theft charge of continuous violence against the family after an alleged assault of his long-term partner. The charge was later dismissed. His criminal record also what is this? Is convictions for evading arrest, making a false... Okay. Dude, who is this guy? Who is this? This is crazy. What is going on? Really? He playing G2A. And again, this is another person. Again, this guy should never have been let out. This is another example. This guy they should have locked his ass up. He shouldn't even be here that has the chance to get the other guy out. And so anyway, yeah. And Democrats love people like this. Judges are weak. I think that you're right. I think that a lot of people view, like, I'm gonna be real. I hate the idea that people have of sympathy and, like, you know, like, what's the word? Like, not, when you let somebody off, right? What's the word? Same. I'm trying to think of the word. I don't know why I can't think of the word. Empathy. No, not empathy. Rigged. Leniency. Yeah. Leniency. Like mercy. There it is. Mercy. That's the word I was thinking of. There is no mercy in letting a person like this out. The problem is that people never are able to perceive the actions that they take beyond the immediate effect of them. Because when you let this person out and then they do something bad again, that's kind of like your fault, isn't it? Because you let them out. And you did that because you thought that things would be better. You thought that you knew better. And so that's it. And mercy, exactly. And this misplaced empathy and this self-indulgent mercy and, you know, like, oh, well, we're going to let people do this. It gets people killed. It does. We must liberate the people from the criminals. Yeah, this guy's... And this is a person who's been violent to a 2-year-old. Like, we're not talking about, like, you know, some, like, weird domestic violence altercation. This is crazy, bro. Like, it's nuts. And so you see, like, white people see this, and it's going to radicalize them. We don't need to go back to race politics. We've spent 150 fucking years getting away from that, and these people are speed running going back. It's fucking annoying. It's exhausting. Then stop blaming white people. I'm not blaming when the fuck did I blame white people? It's not about it's people that do this. It's not white or black people that do this. People do this. Forget getting radicalized. Yes. And so anyway, we play a new RuneScape game today? Yeah, I will. But not yet. And anyway, can an executive order take over a case like this? I don't know. But yeah. And boomer mentals? Yeah, it's really sad, man. You Americans got a lot of black people among you with KKK level of racism. They literally hate white people. Okay. So what's the point? Like, in my opinion, this is just, again, this is my opinion. If I was a black person and I lived in a very impoverished area with majority other people that were part of minority groups, and the city has collectively decided to not police my area, not stop the gang violence in my area, you know, like not stop the drive-bys in my area, I would probably hate white people too. I would. And especially because a lot of these people, if you're broke, the odds are your parents were probably also broke. And so, like, and the thing is that, right, exactly, you probably know, like, I know, like, from my dad saw this shit happen because he was in Florida whenever he grew up. He was born in 1947. And so, like, he saw this shit himself. Like, so you have a direct conversation with a person who was a victim of legitimate, you know, police brutality and bad behavior, right? And so, like, not an excuse, but it kind of is, though, right? Because when you live in a culture that a bunch of people at a committee have decided isn't worth policing because they think that you like this violence or it's like somehow bad to do that. Fuck that. They need to take accountability. It's a culture problem with their community. No, they cannot take accountability and go and shoot the gang members. That's not how it works. That's not how it works at all. The chatter was correct. It's an excuse. It's an explanation. Yeah, I'm explaining why this happens. And again, if you can't understand why a person feels the way that they feel, you can never change the way that they feel because you can't figure out why it's happening. It's like you try to fix a computer problem. If you can't figure out why the computer problem's happening, you can never fix the problem, right? You have to figure out what the problem is and why it's happening. And I think that's a big reason why it's happening. I think the moment that you give these people the ability to live in a place where they can expect the rule of law that's being enforced, they can be respected as individuals, they can not be patronized, condescended to, and victims of the bigotry of low expectations, and you treat them like human beings like they deserve, I think that if you hold people to high expectations, they meet them. And I think that if you hold people to low expectations, they'll also meet them. That's the way I see. There'll never be a moral and just society when we keep treating minorities different than everyone else and infantilizing them. Whites are hated. Yeah, there's a lot of racist black people out there for sure. But you have to look at why is that? Why does that happen? And so as soon as you and I'll tell you one of the reasons why it happens. It's because of this guy. This is one of the reasons why it happens. You have a serial domestic abuser who is weaponizing his race in order to protect other serial domestic abusers and psychopaths. This is the reason why you have racism. Go back to the days that Rush Hour came out in movie theaters and everybody was looking forward to seeing it. Go back to the days that Will Smith was the biggest movie actor in the world and everybody wanted to be like Will Smith. And everybody, believe it or not, wanted a dad or an uncle like Bill Cosby. No, absolutely not. I'm not going to buy into this bullshit. Everything was fucking fine, and then these bad actors ruined it. And yeah, we always had this a little bit. It was always a little bit, but now it's way too much. How the Bill Cosby thing turn out? Not so good. But how'd the Harvey Weinstein thing turn out? I mean, it's not like black people have a monopoly on being creeps. Like, again, everybody always wants to turn it into a race issue. I don't think that that's fair. I just don't. I don't think it's fair, and I don't think it's productive either. Uncle Phil? Yeah, Uncle Phil. There's another great example from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with him. Exactly. Diddy versus Epstein. Exactly. Guys, do you think the bail system is fair? Sometimes I think this instance of it is not. I think some instances of it are. Like basically, if a person, in my opinion, like a perpetrator of a violent crime, especially if it's premeditated, I don't think should probably get bail. But a person who is, committing a crime that's like not, like basically it should be determined whether this person's like a threat to society or not. That's the way I see it. So yeah, I don't want to turn into a race issue. I just want the bad people who hurt innocents to get punished. Yeah, exactly. So you guys are just letting murderers out on bail? Unironically, yes. Unironically, we are going and letting murderers out on bail. And I want to let you guys know that this has caused Nick Fuentes can only dream of being able to cause this much racial difference between two groups of people. Richard Spencer can only dream of being able to ferment this level of racism between whites and blacks. This goes beyond any of these racial instigators or any of this. This is a million times worse. Johnny Somali. Hey, do you see what I'm saying? Because foment, not ferment. You're right, foment. I used the wrong word. That's what I think. The optics are bad. The optics are horrible. Luigi's rotting in jail, but not this guy. That's a great point. That's actually a great point. Holy shit, what a good point. Why is this guy not in jail, but Luigi is? But Luigi was premeditated? So was him. Who brings a knife to a track meet? Who says, touch me and see what happens? That's premeditation, in my opinion. It is. The Joker was right. Yeah. So we let Luigi out? For the sake of my YouTube channel, that would be the best outcome. But no, I think we keep both of them in. Yeah, that's not premeditation by definition. Maybe my understanding of it is different, but I thought it was. Premeditation for a murder can happen the instant before the murder. It just means that it wasn't an accident. Really? I thought an accident meant that it was manslaughter. I'm not a lawyer, okay? So, like, I'm just thinking about it from, like, my layman's understanding of the definitional, like, vocabulary and what it means. But I know that, like, the legal terminology for things can sometimes be different. So I could be wrong about this a little bit. I'm not trying to, like, go and like, have a big argument about this. So yeah, anyway, that's the way that I feel about it. I don't know. What do you guys think? Because, like, I read a lot of these comments. Let's see here. Are there any more of these? This is racist comment. I think this is a racist comment.
Yeah. Ain't that nigga now? I got the rope right here.
Oh my god. Anyway, it's just, and this is again, this is I think kind of racially. That's why most people hate you. Another racist comment. Let's see here. This is. I don't really think this is racist. Could be, right? It's hard to say. But like, if you look at a lot of these, it's just another racial comment, and you see another racial comment, etc. And you see how it's breeding this, right? Do you think it should be this big of a racial thing? I feel like the dude stabbed the other guy because he was pissed at him. Yeah, I think that's probably what it was too. Yeah, I mean, I bet if you ask Carmelo, did you stab him because he was white? Even Carmelo would say no. I stabbed him because he was making me mad. No, I bet that's probably what it was. Yeah, they just got, they got mad. So did a judge made it racial? Exactly, right? And so you can't erase the race. But you should. Not every single altercation and interaction between two people of a different race should be colored by that racial connotation. There's no need for that. There's plenty of times people can be assholes, and it's not because they're racist, it's because they're assholes. The thing is, murder is lucky to have killed a person this way. That way he's in support of racist. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's racial because people are fed up with one particular demographics behavior going unaddressed. But what I'm saying, my point is that I think that that demographic, like with like black people or anything, they are the ones that are the victims of this the most. That's the point that I'm making. And that's why I think this is so insidious. Did you see kind of like that's... Like, you see how all this fits together? Anyway, I'll read a few more of these, and then we'll move on. The crime itself is probably not racist, but the fallout is. Exactly. I think you're completely right about that. And they're the victims. My guy, someone died. I'm not talking about that. That's not even what's being discussed. Keep up. We seem to apply the law equally and colorblind regardless of who's being arrested. Yeah. Ignoring doing something bad when it's beneficial for you is worse for society than doing something bad that's harmful because it's self-encouraging. Yeah, I think so too. Absolutely. And there should just be facts. You kill the person, it has nothing to do with skin color. Yeah, I think so. And we move on. I'm burnt out on this topic now. No, we'll move on whenever I'm ready to move on. And I imagine it'd be harder for someone who isn't Black American to understand what you mean. I try to be understanding. I try to listen to what other people's perspectives are, and I try to see things from their point of view, and I try to look at the bigger picture. Like, obviously, you know, nobody always gets it right. But I think in a lot of cases, I do get it right with this. I do. So It's just, it's insane, man. Let me see here. This video's perfect scenario. Mercy for the guilty is tyranny for the victims. I love that. I completely fucking agree. Yep. This is the problem. Poor people have it just as hard, or even worse, as minority people. Yeah. I think anybody that grew up, you know, working class or lower class knows that. And so, yeah. As a black man, I think you should rot. I think that most black men probably think that. Of course. I mean, again, like, there's just a small subset of people that have been radicalized by the internet. Yeah, no, of course. Like, duh. Do you think the judge should lose her job? Do I think the judge should lose her job? If you want my personal opinion, absolutely. I think that there is no logical reason that you could lower the bail from a person who is a convicted or is like a murderer. And like, again, like, this isn't like a accidental, you know, you got in a fight with somebody and, you know, like, you hit them the wrong way and they fell down and they died, right? Like, this is like you stabbed them in the heart with a knife. Lowering this person's bail, knowing the context of the fact that they'll be let out, at the end of the day, a person that stabs another person in the heart with a knife is mentally unstable and a threat to society. So, did the judge's actions put the public in danger? I would argue the answer to that is unequivocally yes. And if you have a judge who is intentionally putting the public's, you know, safety in danger, then she should be disbarred. Absolutely. Because that's the exact opposite of what her job is. It's not even a question. Yeah, my dad's calling me. Hello?
You know, I've told you about where I grew up, and I found out later, I was about 10, 11 years old, I grew up in that swamp, and there was a hammock in the swamp, and I found out, about 10 years later from my neighbor, who was a guy about my age, and his little brother. I said, well, how's Billy doing? And he said, oh, he's dead. And I said, well, what happened? And it turns out he was, I don't know, he was high on crack or, you know,
yeah,
coke or whatever. And he and the old man got in a knife fight in the living room. These are my next door neighbors. And the old man killed him. Right there.
Yeah, your neighbor. Yeah, I remember him.
You remember that story?
Yeah.
And you know, I told you stories about where I could go drinking when I was like 17.
Yeah.
I go to the bar and drink, and that whole road there, people died there every week.
Well, what are you trying to get at?
About it in the paper. What I'm getting at is we were treated like a lot of the blacks were treated. And I would say we were white N-words, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what people considered us. And so it's somebody brought up this point, I see it come up, that it's not only being poor. I mean, there are communities where there are poor people and everybody gets along fine. Everything is fine.
Yeah.
But poor communities where that's not the truth. And I say, you know, like I told you, I've been in 3 fucking hammer fights. I did not start those hammer fights, but as you know, there are no dents in my fucking helmet. You know, I didn't get my head bashed in.
Well, there's the one in the front of your head.
That's from something else.
That's from the bottle. Yeah.
Yeah, that's from the Coke bottle, where the guy put the bottle on my head. But and that stopped the fight because I was in a different place.
Yeah.
I was in a bar, and it was just, you know, I was in the wrong bar. You know?
Well, look, I want to get back to my stream. I got a lot to go over today.
But I'm just saying that it's not necessarily black.
Of course.
It's really poor. If you're poor, cops, like I told you,
they beat the fuck out of Pete. That's what you said.
Yeah, they pulled Pete right through his window down. They said, roll your window down.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big guy. And they pulled Pete out there where his arms were pinned and his head was sticking out of his car, and they beat the fuck out of him with nightsticks.
Yep.
And I said, hey, man, what's going on? And they give me a little whack, you know, just to get back. And, hey, I'm not stepping up, you know. Sorry, Pete. And, you know, Pete took the hits. And the kicking he has is Pete's a big cop guy now. I told you, watch it over.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And it's like it's never even happened to him.
Yeah.
That's how common it was. His uncle or whatever it was in South Georgia, when they'd have a uprising.
Oh, okay.
But he just drive up.
Okay. Yeah.
And he pulls out his 38 or his, 44 or whatever it was. Bam, bam, bam. Shoots 6 of the guys in a riot and drives back home, and he only misses 5 minutes of the TV show. And that's the end of that.
Okay.
It was, and I told your mom.
Yeah.
We moved into my neighborhood, my old neighborhood. We got our new house there.
Mm-hmm.
I said, don't be alarmed when you hear gunshots all through the night. That's just guys expressing their opinion when they get home drunk.
Yeah.
And the wife starts in on them about the kids or something. And it's just a violent community.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that movie, Sam?
Well, look. I want to get back to my stream.
I'm going to finish this. You remember that movie, Sandlot?
Yeah, I remember it.
And Keanu Reeves went to this black guy or...
You're thinking, I don't think that's not Sandlot. You're thinking of, what's the movie called? The Keanu Reeves movie? Because we watched it in movie theaters. Hardball.
Hardball?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, because for community service, he had to be on a coach of a team. And he went to the people's apartment building, and he said, he's walking by, and the doors are open. People were just sitting there with the doors open, and you can see everybody's sitting on the floor. And he said, why is everybody sitting on the floor? And it was a black...
Yeah, it's so, yeah, for the gunshots, I know.
Yeah, because they didn't want to get shot. And I thought, like, why the hell don't you go out there and shoot the shooters? Yeah. But no. In the neighborhood where I was, they shot the shooters, But it's the good people just can't step up against a lot of that shit. And then you got...
no, I understand. Okay.
And they foster it,
I know.
They think they're tough.
I know.
But it's an ethos, and it's reinforced by the cops and by everybody who treats people like that.
Yeah.
Like, no, they don't.
Yeah.
Like they're not human.
I know.
And, I kind of grew up like that, and so that's why I moved you into the neighborhood.
Yeah.
It was a great neighborhood.
You did.
Now I live in a great.
You do.
We live in working class neighborhoods. I could live in fucking, big house in a fancy place where they got a homeowners association.
Look, yeah, nobody wants a. Look, I want to get back to my show. I'll call you later, okay?
I just don't. I got a lot to say about.
I know you do. So, all right, I'll talk to you later.
All
right. Yo, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Giving me the hustle up, the bums rush, always kind of ticks me off.
I forgot it was your stream.
I understand. Well, that's right. When I'm on, it's my stream. And then it's you're managing it. It's your stream. I know that. But when I come on, I get to talk. And so sometimes, usually I don't go on there quite this long, but you were pushing it, so I'm going on a little longer yet. So I will see you later, and I'll give Walmart a call about that battery.
Sounds good. All right, I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
All right. Yo, bye. So, anyway, yeah, that's what it was. And no, I mean, like, I to be honest, I know the uncensored version of some of these stories. I was on edge. What can I say? I was on edge. So yeah, so that's what it was. But and he got a bunch more of those as well. No, it was. And anyway, so and yeah, there it is, Mega Monologue. Yeah, I guess so, right? And more of the Coke bottle story. Yeah, basically. But that actually wasn't the one. But anyway, so did you get bananas for your diet? I did. I did get the bananas. But yeah, so I do think, like, honestly, it's like those people are the ones that get affected by it. But you can see how like, but are we on the same page, by the way? That, like, this is definitely, this is bad for fucking everybody. It's bad for fucking everybody, and it's being orchestrated by a clown. You shouldn't even be out. You should be in jail yourself. You shouldn't even be free in the first place. It's nuts, man. It's bad for everyone. No, it is. It absolutely is. And so anyway, racism is going to go to the stratosphere. Yeah, I know. But that's really the way. That's the way I see it, and it's just really sad for me to see this happen. And I just wanted to talk about it because I have a lot of opinions about this, and I think that honestly, I think that the way that I talk about it is the fair way to talk about it. And I think that most other people talk about it either from a position of fear or a position of bigotry. So, like, I don't feel like a lot of people give this the right take, if that makes sense. Like, they don't give this they're not fair about this, right? They're trying to either say it in a way that makes one group happy, another group happy, or they're afraid of having, like, an extreme opinion because it could be taken the wrong way, right? And so that's the way I see it. And thanks, suicidal empathy people, for wishes of the best for someone and make it worse for everyone else. Yeah, I know, man, absolutely. And it's not. Or sometimes worries people will come for you. People like this complain about me all the time on Twitter. Absolutely, they get mad about me all the time. But the fact is that I actually think that a lot of people really appreciate what I'm saying, and I think that actually it's the vast majority that appreciates what I'm saying, and they appreciate the fact that I'm talking about it in this way, because they're like, thank fucking God, I'm sick of hearing a Klan rally or some, like, Black Panther speech or some other fucking racial undertone or some, let's make platitudes and never say anything that matters. I think people are sick of hearing that shit. They're sick of it. It's exhausting. It's annoying. So yeah, open season on white people. That's the thing, right? Is I don't talk about it like that. I talk about it in a way that I think is honest, direct, and fair. And I wish more people would do the same. But I understand why they don't. I do. I understand why a lot of people are afraid to talk about it. They don't want to get into it the way that I do. And the main reason why, I'll tell you the reason why, it's because if you talk about this in the wrong way, people take it in that way and they call you a racist. Now, the problem for me is that I've already been called a racist 100 fucking times. So that's already, that's out the window. Like, the whole idea of, like, me not being a racist, like, that's done. And so they're scared of being canceled. Yeah, exactly. For me, like, I've had so many of these controversies, hundreds of these controversies. It just doesn't do anything to me, right? It doesn't matter. But yeah, I think they should disbar this judge. Or I don't know. I mean, obviously there should be a process for this. But I just don't see how, like, when you're a judge, how is this not a misuse of judicial power by allowing a murderer to go free that stabbed somebody with a knife? Really, like, how is it, like, how is that not a misuse of judicial power? Because, like, she's really the one, by the way, she's the one that has the power. And keep this in mind, he doesn't have the power, he doesn't have the power, she has the power. And she used it in the wrong way. What happens to the bail money? I have no idea. So yeah, and total psyop, yeah, exactly. And right, it's not like he's a child, yeah, but he doesn't get to make the decision for what his bail is. She does. He's not accused of stabbing. He literally did it. Yeah, everybody knows it is. And yeah, that's it. Crazy how he just looks angry and mean. Well, I mean, yeah, I would be mad too. You know, he just fucked up his whole life. And so you stab someone and you just bail him out. Yeah, I guess so, right? It's interesting. See, this is, again, like this, it's so disappointing for me to see this shit. It really is. Two-tier justice system. How does somebody look at this and not think that? Really? How does somebody look at this and not immediately have this opinion? She picked the easy answer, not the right one. I feel like the easy answer is don't do shit, right? But yeah, there it is. DEI higher judge, cold-blooded murder. I don't know if she's DEI higher. That's just because she's black doesn't mean that. It's a bit too much. But yeah, that's the way I feel about it. I think you'd like Tim Pool's take on this. From what he saw cover, he defended his self-defense. I have no stance on it. Be an interesting counter view. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I haven't really. I saw that he said that, but I don't know really why he said that or what the reason was. So yeah, I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, Poole called it self-defense. I mean, I don't know the details. I mean, from what my understanding was, like I read 2 of the accounts of it, and the accounts were a bit contradictory. And so, like, I feel like the self-defense thing kind of. Like, the strength of the self-defense argument, I think, gets very weakened when you contextualize it in the fact that he was in a place that he wasn't supposed to be in the first place, right? So it's like he's trespassing in another person's area, and, like, they want to remove him. That changes the dynamic for me, right? So, yeah, should have never been there. Exactly. And what about Kyle Rittenhouse? Oh, I'm a huge supporter of Kyle Rittenhouse. I think that, you know, I think he did nothing wrong. And so did the judge, by the way. Absolute W decision. Yeah, so that's what my opinion is. So yeah, Tim Pool changed his opinion about learning more, he said. That's okay. I mean, some people don't know everything right off the bat. And what a sudden reason for somebody... Anyway, let's move on, right? I've pretty much given my opinion on this. And I'll probably talk about it more as the information comes out. But I just really hope that you guys can see that... Like, I think this is it's so, like, as somebody who grew up, like, I feel like in a lot of ways, and I think some of this is informed by naivete, right? Like, I was naive to the, you know, racial problems growing up. But as somebody who grew up in a place that really, I mean, at least personally felt like way less racially divided, it's just really sad for me to see this. And I'm very opinionated about it because I grew up in such a multiracial neighborhood and culture. And so I have very strong opinions about this.